This is my review of Star Trek Picard Episode 6, titled The Bounty, Season 3, final season. And wow, what an episode. If you're a big Star Trek fan of the different various series throughout the years, you're going to be in for a treat with this episode. Right off the bat, we deal with Vedic now, who's obviously upset because obviously she can't find the Titan, and even has to do something to one of her own. Well, order somebody to do something to one of her own crew, which they seem to be having doubts, which is kind of well, you can see that things are slowly starting to crumble, or maybe not crumbling. Amanda Plummer as Vedic, wow, I mean, even right down to our laughter, and she's really kind of menacing and then creepy at the same time. Finally, a villain that's got some meat to their bones, and it's going to be interesting to see how things play out with this particular villain. Again, I would love to see. We've only got 4 episodes left, but I would love to see more of a backstory on the villain as well, to add some more meat to the narrative. But if they don't, it's fine. But it just would be kind of great. And as we leave the last episode, so there might be some spoilers in this particular episode. So be warned if you haven't watched the episode. Ro Laren basically risked her life in saving the crew of the Titan. But obviously all wasn't lost, because she left them valuable information that she collected, and to the handlers that she was using to collect information to find a conspiracy with the through the Federation. Obviously, with the changelings infiltrating the Starfleet, should I say? And obviously, we finally get to see Raffi and Worf join the on board of the USS Titan. We even get a familiar sound effect, which I won't spoil, but you kind of will work it out when they go on board. And it was nice seeing Worf interacting with Picard, Beverly, and Riker again. You know, obviously back in the days on the Next Generation. So it was great seeing them all, the chemistry back, or the old crew together. And something that we'll see throughout this episode was obviously the chemistry between Worf and Riker, where Riker's trying to banter with Worf throughout the entire episode, and then Worf kind of doesn't get the kind of the human, thinks that Riker would have stopped doing it by now. But that was kind of really kind of funny. So then they have to go on to the Daystrom station to find out what the changelings stole from the actual station, which obviously we do find out by the end of the episode, so at least they give us that. So basically they have to split up into 2 teams. So one team has to then try to find out what was stolen, and the other team has to go to this other station, where they meet up with our old friend, which is Commodore LaForge, who's also one of his other daughters is also working with him as an where they're looking after old starship relics. I suppose they would be. And the other sister is played by LeVar Burton's real life daughter, so that's kind of great. And it's nice to see that obviously with Geordi having 2 daughters, obviously one of them being a pilot and one of them being an engineer. Now, in the first season of The Next Generation, obviously we see Geordi was initially a pilot before the second season becoming an engineer. So it's kind of great seeing that. Now, the other daughter that's piloting the Titan, I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, but she's changed her hairstyle. Now, this, my assumption is to do with the fact that obviously seeing that changeling copy of her lying dead on the in sick bay. So to me, it was a very clever thing that they did in changing her hair to kind of to signify, you know, right, that it's not kind of her, but then that still would be a bit freaky. Obviously, we now, well, we don't know if this is the full story, but we find out what's going on with Jack, or what they say. And I won't spoil too much there, but there's something, let's say there's something very familiar that they find in terms of what's wrong with him. We see that Picard and Jack now with Picard now trying to get closer to Jack now, and we kind of start to see that he has different traits from both parents, which I think was kind of great. And what I thought was great about the Jack character is that we're starting to see more and more of the character develop. And they could have easily made the character annoying or more of a kind of a pirate, kind of a character that goes against authority. But you still see that he has a heart of gold and he's actually got a conscience and he's actually quite clever as well, which I thought was kind of really great. And obviously, as I said before, they split up into groups. So Riker, Raffi, and Worf go aboard the station to find out what's been stolen. And obviously the security is pretty light because they've got this AI that's controlling everything. And obviously the stuff that they stolen from the, that Vulcan gangster, obviously they use that key obviously to break in there. And obviously now Vedic and the rogue Starfleet ships now basically were after them, and it is what the first thing what you do find is strange is that how is it that wherever the Titans seem to be going back, they seem to know wherever Vedic and the Changeling Starfleet ships, well, the crew on board seem to always know where they are. So Picard and the rest of the Titan crew basically have to leave our three intrepid heroes on the station to fend for themselves and go and get help. And obviously that's where they go to Geordi. And what I thought was really great is aboard that station is that you see loads of different kind of Easter eggs, which again I don't want to spoil, but I will say that some of the Easter eggs hark back to some of the original Star Trek movies, which I suppose I can say, Star Trek 2, and there's even a familiar, well, face, but not face because you don't see it. But when you see the name of the person, you'll know who it is. And all I'll say is it's tied to one of the Next Generation movies, but then the original series as well. But you'll know what I'm talking about when you actually see the name. And there's a certain device that when you look at it will look very familiar. We also see a bird. Now, even though I've never, obviously, this is my first time watching this episode, I kind of knew what was going on with this particular bird. I'm not going to give away what the bird was because maybe that will be a good giveaway. But let's just say that it ties in to a Next Generation episode involving a particular character, this bird, which, by me saying that, you'll probably work it out, but without me obviously spoiling it. Then we go back, obviously Picard thinks that by going to his old friend Geordi that he'll he'll help him because obviously back in the old days, but it seems like Geordi's not the Geordi that we kind of knew. Seems to be a little bit more grumpy, but then you kind of work out why. And obviously his two daughters, and obviously he knows about what's happened. Obviously you've got Frontier Day coming up, and because of the all the starships, the old starships that have got around, and he's basically looking after them. And then he knows that by helping Picard, not only will he probably will get court-martialed, but then as to what's going on, he now, because he's a parent now he's worried about his daughters, which is quite what's the word, understandable as to why somebody would be like that. But then Sydney again didn't left on good terms with her father Geordi. And then she thinks it's because that he does that she's not proud of her. So then basically it's this cat and mouse game where it's him not wanting to get involved, but then Sydney's trying to get him involved. But then Jack comes up with an idea on how they can get the edge on the obviously the compromised Starfleet ships from finding them. Again, the particular ship kind of ties into another from the original series and an actual Star Trek original series movie, which I won't spoil. Obviously, that doesn't go well, and then Geordi ends up ends up helping him, and then Sydney and LaFord and Geordie basically have a heart to heart, and then she basically, sits there and tells him, look, we have to help him, and this is the reason why. So that's kind of great. We then back aboard the station with Raffi, Worf, and Riker. We then see a very familiar face, or a holographic face, should I say? Again, it's a character that we've seen, and you've seen him in the particular character in the actual trailer, and we've seen him in a couple of Next Generation episodes as well. And it was great seeing that person again, even though it was brief. But then it's not what it all seems. We then get a flashback. Again, this isn't a spoiler, to the Next Generation season 1 first episode encounter at Farpoint, and there's a particular reason why. And then we see a very familiar face, and it's obviously Brent Spiner. And we kind of find out, obviously, if you've watched the trailers, why it looks like Laura is there, but then there's kind of a twist as to what's kind of going on. And all I will say is that the roles in which Brent Spiner had to play in this particular episode were really great. Being able to switch between the different roles, again, I can't spoil why, but you'll see when I mention being able to switch between the different roles, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just brilliantly played, and then the explanation as to why the character he's playing is the way they are and why they look the way they are. It's pretty much, well, it's all explained. And then obviously they have to go back, and Picard and the crew of the Titan basically have to go back and then rescue them off of this off of the station, because now obviously the compromised Starfleet ships and Vedic are now after them. There is a little, jumping back a bit and forth here and there, but there is a nice little Easter egg with a nice little moment with Jack and Seven of Nine, where you basically see all the different starships from all the different Star Trek shows, well, pretty much all of them, from the different shows and even the movies. And for each of the starships, they actually play the actual themes from each of the series or the actual movies. And I thought that was a really nice touch. And I would say that even the graphics of because now they don't use models anymore, it looks incredibly detailed. And there was one particular ship that was close to Seven of Nine's heart. And it was kind of nice seeing that again. It was kind of really kind of touching. And as I said before, the other starships that we see, for me, as a big Star Trek fan, where it's the different iterations of Star Trek shows that we had over the years, and the movies with the Next Generation and the original series, it was just a nostalgia fest and full of Easter eggs. This show had, a particular episode had so many Easter eggs. But then Riker sacrifices himself to basically get Raffi and Brent Spiner's character, which I don't want to spoil, back on board Hype, and then he gets captured. They then manage to something happens with the Brent Spiner character, and in terms of what happened, and then again we see the flip between the personalities. As much as I can say, with the personalities, you then find out what the Vedek and the Changeling, what they're really after, because obviously they did that weapon that was able to teleport and destroy I forgot the name of the weapon they're using, but you find out what it is, the manifest that was missing and what they're really after, and it's a real massive twist in what you find out what it is that they've actually taken. And I would say I did not see that coming, and it's leaving more questions than answers as to why did they take that particular thing? Why do they actually need it? Right, so that was kind of really great. Obviously, we've got Riker being tortured, and then obviously Riker's not going to talk, but then obviously he won't talk because out of loyalty. And then two of the Vedek's men get killed, and then you find out who the person that actually killed them, because obviously people can change forms. So this is what changing ends do. And then but then it's the ending. The kind of, for me, it was a shock ending as to Riker won't cooperate with Vedek, but then she decides to play her trump card in make him talk, and it's the person that that Vedek ends up getting, and then that's how the episode ends. And that's a really, really good cliffhanger, because now it's got me intrigued as to why does she need Riker? How's Riker going to talk without the other person, the person's close and being tortured? Why was the particular the item from the Daystrom Institute stolen? And then why do they need it? Why do they still need Jack? So many questions, and then suddenly we've got 4 episodes still left, and it's just got me completely pumped. And I want the 7th episode now. And obviously with the Brent Spiner character flipping between different personalities, it's going to be interesting as the power struggle with the personalities. But yeah, and then obviously seeing Shaw geeking out, obviously being an engineer, with seeing his hero Geordi LaForge, obviously known as the greatest engineer in Starfleet. Well, for me, he definitely is. But obviously some people may say Scotty, but or Trip. But yeah, but I would say for me, brilliant episode. Seeing things from even the flashbacks from Encounter at Farpoint, and even the actual quality of the clip that they played. It looked better than when I first saw it. And yeah, I do have season 1 on Blu-ray, which I haven't watched yet. And I do know that with obviously the Star Trek Restoration on Blu-ray, that they did some restoration and redid the special effects. So I don't know if that's how it actually looks as good as that on the actual Blu-ray. But when you see that particular clip from Encounter Farpoint, the picture quality of it looks so good. It looked like someone in film. Aside from the fact that some of the characters look younger, there was no film grain. The colours popped. It was just so different. So I'm gonna maybe look back on, have a check through and watching Encounter Farpoint, have a quick butchers for it, and see if the restoration on that particular episode is as good as it was that they showed in the clip in episode 6 for the Flashpoint, because it looked incredible. And I would love to see them do a restoration on not next restoration, because I've already done that with Deep Space Nine and Voyager. But I know that that's due to money, them having to go through and restore and redo the effects. Because I know the Next Generation, if you watch the Next Generation on Blu-ray now, even the colours on the uniform pop and they just look completely different, because they've restored and frame by frame and redone all the effects. So it looks completely different. So I really want to see that. But yeah, what I really loved about this particular episode is just seeing all the Easter eggs, all the different starships, and recognizing them. And then some of them you see close up, some of them you see you obviously don't see a complete close up of them, but you can still, if you pause and freeze frame it, or I'm sure some Star Trek YouTube channels will sit there and will go through the starships and they can name them. I could, but I don't want to spoil it. But it's just seeing it all again and then. But what I love is the fact that they can hark back onto different episodes from the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and then they even play the musical narrative themes that went with the particular episodes, or even the actual, whether it's the original Star Trek movies or the Next Generation movies, and they play the actual musical motifs, and it just brings back so. And you can tell that with this season 3, the final season back, there's such love and care being put into this season and in every episode. And as I said before, my worry was that with it being 10 episodes, whether or not they all be able to well, it's almost like a marathon, is that will it able to carry on the momentum of being such a strong narrative story from episode 1 to episode 10. And so far we're more than halfway through the halfway point of season 3, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And it just, I think to myself, if only this had been like this from the first and second season, which I don't mind, but season 3 I'm absolutely loving it. It's just, as I said before, it's just, as a Star Trek fan, it's just made me kind of, it's made me love the series more and more and more, even though I already have. And now I actually want to go back and start watching more of them, of the Star Trek shows again, even though I've watched them loads of times. I'm just hoping now that between now and episode 7 and episode 10, that we do get a strong finish. And I'm hoping that we do see maybe more Easter eggs, which we always do in every episode. But I'm hoping that we get to see more cameos before the series finishes. And I'm also hoping, and I've been saying this a lot on Twitter, and a lot of other Star Trek fans are saying that that I would love to see, and maybe them do other spin-off shows with the other Next Generation legacy characters, even the Deep Space Nine ones if they want, or even the Voyager ones, like maybe even the Janeway one, or even with like Captain Shaw and his crew and the Titan crew. I would love to sit them and do something like give like just cultivate loads more spin-off shows, because I think the fans want it. And already, as we know, that from what I've seen on social media, a lot of the fans are loving season 3 of Picard and really enjoying it. And if the powers that be at Paramount are listening, which I probably know that they actually aren't listening to my channel, please listen to the fans and give us some spin-off series using these characters, because they absolutely deserve it. Every one of them, whether it's the Next Generation crew, the new crew, you got characters like Jack Crusher, the Captain Liam Shaw, Geordie's daughters, the rest of the crew, they deserve a show. And even characters like Worf and Riker and Beverly Crusher, and Deanna Trey, who obviously they weren't, as female characters, weren't given to me enough strong storylines. I would love to see them be given more stuff to do, because they weren't given enough in the shows, and even especially in the movies. So I would love to sit there and see it. But so far, as I said before, this particular episode 6, The Bounty, was absolutely fantastic. And once I would say that I'm definitely, when the entire run ends, I'm probably going to watch the entire thing from start to finish again. So yeah, I'm hoping that episode 7, 8, 9, and 10 are gonna be excellent and gonna be knock it out of the park. But yeah, I don't know how they do it, but every episode it just gets better and better and goes from strength to strength. And again, it's just so hard being a passionate Star Trek fan and trying to do a non-spoiler review and wanting to kind of go into complete detail in saying this is what happened, this is all the Easter eggs, without kind of like spoiling it for other people. But it's like trying to bite my tongue in not having to do that. But yeah, I'm just absolutely loving it, and I'm hoping that other people enjoy it. Will enjoy my review and then have the same kind of enthusiasm and passion that I've had so far with the current episodes of Star Trek Picard season 3. So yeah, that's from me and over, because I think I've kept everybody long enough. But yeah, that's my review of Star Trek Picard season 3, episode 6, titled The Bounty, final season.